name is Catherine Crowley, and I'm the program manager for the State of California's AT Act program, Ability Tools, a program of California Foundation for Independent Living Centers. I'm happy to tackle this very important topic with you all today. So let's start with today's training objective. Our training objective for today will be to discuss the process of prioritizing your needs and different methods of finding funding options, which will range from ways to get items for free, discounted prices, offset the cost, or getting a loan. And please note that these slides are going to be available after the presentation, so you will have access to all of the resources I discuss. So if cost is a concern, which is likely, who typically has spare cash to waste when they could be saving money? And why would you be attending this specific installment if you weren't interested in funding resources? One of the more important considerations when deciding what smart home devices will be best for your home is what devices you actually need. Hopefully you attended our previous Smart at Home installments, Accessibility 101 and Installation, so that you have a moderate foundation of how smart home devices function as forms of AT, like smart bulbs replacing physical interaction with light switches with verbal commands, or how smart home hubs can provide reminders for those with memory disabilities. What devices might be best for your needs, what support devices you may need to make smart home devices work best in your home. Or if you didn't, please visit our YouTube channel to learn more about those considerations. If you're working on a budget, it would be a good idea to take the time to assess the needs of your home. Are you simply looking for small hubs around your house? Are you looking for those hubs to interact with other devices? And what devices might those be? Understanding the scale of what you're hoping to implement will help you plan out your approach to pursuing smart devices without using valuable resources on devices that will ultimately not be useful for the overall functionality of your home. For example, do you need a smart speaker in each room of your home, or do you have smaller rooms that you can place speakers strategically so that you can command one speaker from multiple rooms? If you're trying to get more bang for your buck, you should also consider if you need the more expensive version of a device, or if a less tricked out version would be just as good. For example, some bulbs are more expensive for having color spectrum options. If that isn't a need for you, then only get the white bulbs, and you can save a lot of money overall, especially when it comes to smart bulbs, as those can really add up as you assess how many light bulbs you really need to outfit an entire home. As a side note, when talking about the cost efficiency of purchasing smart bulbs, those bulbs are all LED bulbs and are going to last far longer than incandescent bulbs. So you're also getting more years of use out of these bulbs. In reality, smart bulbs do wear out sooner than typical LEDs, as there's more strain on the bulb with the smart home technology. So perhaps your best long-term investment would be an LED bulb and a lamp connected to your smart home system through a cheap Wi-Fi enabled plug. Just another cost-saving consideration. You might want to consider older models that are discounted when newer models are released. Do you really need those newest features like drop-in compatibility or built-in Zigbee compatibility? Those could be an absolute need for you. But if not, you could save a good amount of money getting an older model. So really consider what the upgrades are for the newer model and purchase accordingly. Once you've assessed your needs, I would suggest trying out the devices to see if they truly function how you'd like them to. You can borrow them from device lending and demonstration centers, or DLDCs, who exist expressly for the purpose of people like you borrowing devices to try out before purchasing and being able to make an informed choice. They're a great first step because they can also provide demonstrations to explain the functions of the device, further driving your understanding of which devices suit your needs. There are also individual loan centers outside of DLDCs if the DLDC doesn't have what you need. Some regional centers have loan closets, and some nonprofits like the ALS Association also have loan closets. If you have any friends or family who already have these devices in their home, ask if you can borrow them for a time to try them out. And since they already use them, they might be a great resource when determining if the device is going to suit your needs. Also, find a supplier that has a return policy that is applicable to smart devices and use the device within that window. Return it if you aren't ready to purchase yet, or if you aren't satisfied with its use. Please pay careful attention to the stipulations related to the return, as you don't want to be stuck with a device you can't use. Amazon, for example, allows for the return of most Amazon branded products, such as an Echo, even if the box has been opened. It isn't necessary to return the manual, and you don't even need to have the original shipping packaging. As long as you select a label-free, box-free return location, all you have to do is bring the product and have them scan the QR code on your phone, and they'll return it for you. No annoying boxes and tape to deal with. Next, we're going to cover different methods to fund your devices. We'll cover methods of getting devices for free, getting devices for a discount, offsetting the cost of purchasing devices, and potentially getting loans for devices. Let's start with government resources that can get devices to you for free. The California Department of Aging, or the CDA, gave Google Homes to California's area agencies on aging, or AAAs. So if you're an older adult, 60 years of age or older, and have an internet provider and a smartphone, you can reach out to your local AAA or Aging and Disability Resource Connection, ADRC, and they'll be able to ask you to fill out a few surveys and provide you with a free Google Smart Home device. The purpose of these devices is to help older adults in connecting with their family, friends, community, and other valuable resources. The Department of Rehabilitation, or DOR, can utilize funds through the Transition and Diversion Grant. Its devices could prevent institution or homelessness, or if someone's transitioning from homelessness or institutionalization to stable and community living. A case could be made that this is an allowable expense under the requirements of those funds. If the device is related to employment, an argument could also be made for their acquisition. If the device enables the person to be more successful in finding employment or retaining employment, then they would be eligible. And I definitely say that a smart device that you can set up to integrate with your calendars so that they can remind you of appointments like job interviews or meetings once you've obtained the job help with employment. They can also be used to set up routines and alarms to support getting to work on time, and can let you know how long it will take to get to your job, what the weather's like, so you can know how to appropriately dress, which is really relevant for individuals that have disabilities that relate to their ambient body temperature. Or smart coffee makers that can be set up to have your coffee ready to go when you go out the door, expediting your way out the door. All examples of how smart devices could be a useful tool to retain employment, and an argument could be made. Additionally, if you're a regional center client, reach out and have a conversation with your service coordinator about how the devices that you need would support your independence and facilitate your ability to thrive in your community and home. They'd want to see what your specific needs are and how the needs can be met. And based on those assessments, there might be resources that are available on a needs-based basis that your coordinator can take to a committee who oversees home modifications, among other things. Now let's move on to private resources that can get you items for free. You can always join your local Buy Nothing group. The Buy Nothing project mission is to build community by connecting people through hyper-local gifting and reducing environmental impact. So the way it works is you can post a gift that someone else could use. You can ask for something that you could use, or you can express your gratitude. Everything is free and there are no strings attached. You could participate in these groups and either ask for what you're looking for or keep an eye out for any smart home devices people might have posted to give. California reuse centers take gently used equipment and they make them available to community members for free or very little cost. Reuse centers are nonprofit organizations that take in these donations of assistive devices for accessible living, and they clean, test, and when possible, fix equipment so that it's ready to use. Attending assistive technology expos is a great way to not only learn about the newest devices available, they're also a great spot to hit it for freebies, including smart home devices. The last expo I attended had a booth giving away Google Homes. There was a wall of them. All you had to do was add your email to their mailing list and they handed you one right there. After you have a complete vision of what you'll need for your project and are able to determine a quantifiable number for how much it's going to cost, you can always crowdsource the project through sites like GoFundMe. This is a particularly effective method if you are social media savvy and have a good following on your platforms of choice. Also, you can always attend Ability Tools smart home trainings for freebies, which we'll go ahead and do right now. We have Echo Dots in a variety of beautiful colors and sets of smart plugs to give away to lucky winners at every smart at home training. Megan, do you want to take a look at our attendee list and pick a random person off and we can connect with them after the webinar and get your guys' contact information, and you can select which device you prefer and we will send it your way.
Yes, I just did a quick scroll through and we'll see where my mouse lands. And it looks like we are landing on Eileen Garcia. So Eileen, you are our winner. We'll get your contact information to get that out to you.
And I wrote down your name, Eileen, so I don't forget about you. All right, now let's look at getting free or discounted services from existing services you might already utilize. Check out your utility providers' websites to see if they have any rebates available for smart devices that interact with their services. For example, Sacramento City's water supplier has a rebate program right now that has smart sprinkler systems for free after instant rebates, and many other devices that are free or a dramatically reduced cost with instant rebates when you buy from their SMUD energy store. So you have to buy it from that store. They have hefty discounts on smart thermostats, shower heads, light bulbs, great options to offset the cost of the purchase, and other non-smart devices like LED bulbs, advanced power strips, and faucet heads that are also going to lower your water bill by lowering unnecessary energy and water use. So you get dual savings there. There are quite a few public utilities providing rebates and discounts, like Southern California Edison, who offers up to $115 back when people enroll their qualifying smart thermostat in the smart energy program and participate in the program events. There are some energy companies who will provide discounts if you allow them to adjust the temperature of your smart thermostat remotely, but please be cautious of offers such as these. I'm not personally a fan of these programs, as you might find yourself wondering why your home is feeling uncomfortably hot, and this could be a serious concern for people who have disabilities that interact with their body temperature. Some services like phone and internet providers offer promotions for joining programs like paperless billing or starting up new services, where you might get a gift card or recurring discount for a single smart device. So you can also be on the lookout for programs such as these. Also, it never really hurts to ask, so why not ask? You can always call, see if they provide discounts or services or offer free devices or devices with rebates in conjunction with their services. And if they say no, then no harm, no foul. The first option I point out when people are looking for discounts through sales is to look for sales that are promoted directly from the manufacturer. You can sometimes get the best discounts this way. I recently purchased a Tovala smart oven, stay tuned for our installment focusing on kitchen gadgets, and used the code IMPOSSIBLE to get the $300 device for $100. All you have to do is purchase a meal plan, the minimum being 3 meals a week, which my family of 3 turned into one night's dinner for everyone, and order at least 6 weeks worth of meals within the first 6 months of having purchased the device. So a meal a month in our case. Those meals came out to about $250 total, including shipping. So in the end, we paid $350 for a $300 device, but we got 36 servings of really delicious dinners. that I didn't have to cook. So the added difference of $50 for my family to collectively have 6 pretty gourmet meals that I didn't have to cook, I'd say that's a win. It breaks down to less than $10 a night for a family of 3's coffee rubbed pork chop and risotto, or pumpkin lasagna and Brussels sprouts, or chicken parmesan and stuffed shells. It's a good deal to me. Look out for time sensitive annual sales. They include Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, which are both very quickly coming up, with Amazon Prime Day happening more towards the summer to the autumn time. There are also more pop-up type sales like Amazon Daily Deals or utilizing the Amazon Treasure Truck that you'll need to keep an eye on as the sales change on a much more frequent daily basis, but they do offer really good sales if you can take advantage of them. Some tactics when trying to get a deal when shopping online can be to reach out to the sellers, particularly directly from the manufacturer. When you call or use their website's chat function, as long as you are a kind and respectful person, you typically get a white glove treatment where they'll give you a heads up about upcoming sales, promo codes, or free shipping offers. They're also more likely to give you a coupon with a % off your purchase if you have a discussion with one of their reps. Additionally, I found that leaving items in my Amazon cart or save for later list has been a great tool to determine when it's a good time to buy. The company wants you to spend money at their establishment. So most times you'll get notifications if an item in your cart that's been saved for later has had a price drop. Always be sure to comparison shop. If you need a specific device, don't necessarily purchase from the easiest, most first thought of source. Shop around before committing to buying from a place. Always remember to check the shipping costs. Search for coupon codes for the store you're shopping at. Coupon code sites like Honey or Retail Me Not might have codes that you can apply to your cart that could provide some deep discounts. You can also use similar sites like Rakuten, which used to be Ebates, Groupon, or slickdeals.net if you're really into the couponing experience. Sign up for mailing lists for first-time shopper one-time code percentages off. I personally have a junk email address that I use for activities like this to save my primary email address from getting overwhelmed with unwanted emails. And whenever I go shopping at that store again, I just do a search in that email for their most recent offers. Use points that you've built up from your credit card purchases. Points can be cashed out, which in itself is great, free money, right? But if you have the option of cashing them out into a cash gift card or to cash them out into a brand specific gift card, they'll typically give more money that way. So let's say 100 points can be cashed out into a $100 Visa cash gift card. Those same I think I said 1,000 points, or I meant to. Those same 1,000 points might get you a $150 gift card to Amazon, Home Depot, or Macy's because they have relationships with these other businesses and they're able to leverage those relationships to be able to get a larger gift card for the same amount of points. So you can see which place gives you more bang for your points. And as long as it works for a place that you can get your smart devices from, you now have more money to apply to your purchase. I do this a lot. You can also do the virtual version of walking away from the table by abandoning your cart. At some sites, this is going to trigger a similar response that you'd get if you were to do this tactic in person. Force them to make you a better deal. As long as you're signed into your account on the site so that they can see that your account has a cart full of items that aren't being purchased, they'll many times send a coupon code to your email. Beware though, sometimes smart devices are excluded, like at Bed Bath & Beyond, so be sure to read the fine print of their coupons. I've included a link to a blog that outlines the stores that most frequently send codes to those who abandon their carts. Utilizing club memberships to outfit your home with smart devices is a great idea. Typically, any household member is able to utilize the membership of an individual. Now, clubs like Costco and Sam's Club sell in bulk, and therefore they're able to negotiate cheaper prices for the products that they sell their members. So you get the same high quality devices for really stellar prices. On top of that, as a Costco member, I can attest that they have a book of member-only savings that frequently has special prices on smart home devices on top of the money you're already saving from the bulk prices. However, as shopping is in bulk, it's better suited for devices like smart bulbs, where buying 6 at a time is a good option for your needs. However, they do also sell individual devices at great discounts, like their Ring doorbells. Those frequently go on sale. Also, Costco has a notably ridiculously good return policy. So, like we discussed when talking about trying things out, if a device doesn't work well for your needs, it's super easy to return items at Costco. People have returned half-eaten food with no issue. Don't be that person, but it stands as a testament to their dedication to your satisfaction with their services. The only real downfall is that as it sells in bulk, options are typically limited. You might not be looking for the brand that they're carrying. And it isn't like at another retail store where you might keep looking down the shelf to see what other types there are. Anyone with a club membership will attest that with limited space comes curated purchase options. So if this isn't for you, you might want to pass. Used devices are a great way to get a good deal on a still perfectly working device. And they also have the additional perk of allowing access to devices that have been discontinued, like the Harmony Hub that was promoted in our previous webinar. Smart at home installation. This is awesome because some devices, previous models, were simply better, and used is the only way you can get your hands on that way better version. When looking on Amazon for a device, take a look at all of the buying options available for used versions of the device. They can sometimes provide considerable discounts for devices, like the screenshot I've attached to this slide showing an Echo Show 10 retailing for $250, but selling used for $200. That's a 20% discount. Sometimes items are being sold at a discount only because the packaging was damaged and they're unable to sell the product for full price due to that. This could result in good discounts if you're willing to lurk a bit and purchase when the time is right. Be sure to take into account how much the shipping will adjust the total, as most times these items have very different shipping prices than their newer counterparts. Another great site to visit when looking for used smart home devices is eBay. eBay has a requirement to disclose the condition of the item, so please read those notes. Sometimes items are new and in unopened boxes. I recently purchased multicolored light strips from an eBay seller and paid 30% less than retail value. To me, this was a great deal because even if they were used, light strips are pretty much mounted and left alone, so I wasn't really worried about them being a heavily used device. They're LED lights, so even if they were used for years, they still have a lot of life left in them, and they aren't remotely touch heavy, so I wasn't concerned. I wasn't as concerned with a used smart device like this as I might have perhaps been with a touchscreen hub. Additional sites that you can visit are sites that facilitate exchange directly between an individual seller and the prospective purchaser. Sites like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or LetGo are different from Amazon and eBay individual sellers, as they tend to have less protections for the people using them. So these sites are a great opportunity to get great deals, but please use caution when using them. Items might not work as described, or you might encounter less than reputable sellers. Be cautious, meet at public locations, and listen to your stranger danger instincts. And when a deal seems too good to be true, it very likely is. I have been a buyer and a seller on a few of these sites and have only had good experiences, but I still proceed with caution as a rule of thumb. One of the methods I try to utilize most when I work with people who aren't sure if they can afford a one-time expense of an item is to reduce their overall monthly expenses. I love this method because not only does it free up some money for them to purchase their device, but it's also a compounding savings that helps them month after month. So typically, the first thing I ask people is if they're eligible for the California Alternate Rates for Energy, or CARE program. Low-income customers that are enrolled in the CARE program typically receive between 20 to 35% discount on their electric and natural gas bills. Ways to know if you're eligible for the CARE program are through income guidelines that you can find linked on the site, or if you or anyone in your home is enrolled in public assistance programs such as Supplemental Security Income, Medicaid or Medi-Cal, Women, Infants, Children Program, or WIC, Healthy Families, the National School Lunch Free Program, if you receive SNAP benefits or are enrolled in the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, if you're Head Start income eligible for tribal only, the Bureau of Indian Affairs General Assistance, and if you utilize Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF, or the tribal TANF. All of those programs, if you partake of any of them, make you immediately eligible for the CARE program. The Family Electric Rate Assistance Program, or FERA, is designed to assist families whose household income slightly exceeds the CARE allowances. And this program provides an 18% discount in their electricity only, not their gas. And it's for households of 3 or more people. Unlike the CARES program, participants can only qualify through income guidelines. FERA is available for customers of Southern California Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric Company, and Pacific Gas and Electric Company. Next, I ask questions to determine if they're eligible for the medical baseline program. Residential customers are billed a certain amount of their natural gas and electricity use at their utility company's lowest residential rate. This is called the baseline allowance. And that baseline is set depending on what climate zone your home's in and whether it's the utility's winter or summer season. If you rely on life support equipment, have a life-threatening illness, multiple sclerosis, are paraplegic or quadriplegic, or have a compromised immune system, you can have extra allowances of natural gas and electricity billed at your utility company's lowest rate through that medical baseline program. So this program isn't income-based, only needs-based. So as long as you fit the qualifications, your income level is irrelevant. Life support equipment means equipment that uses mechanical or artificial means to sustain, restore, or supplement a vital function. A medical equipment that you rely on for both mobility within and outside of buildings. So this can include respirators, hemodialysis machines, electric nerve stimulators, electrostatic and ultrasonic nebulizers, or motorized wheelchairs, just to name a few. Next on, I move on to finding out if they're bundling their services. Most people know that their television, internet, and phone providers are going to provide a discount if you bundle their services, but not everybody does. And not everyone knows that you can bundle insurances like auto with home or renter's insurance. On top of bundling, when it comes to phone, internet, and television bundles, I'd suggest you shop around and move your services accordingly. If you live in an area that you have a few providers to choose from, not all of us do, but if you do, look for the best introductory promo rates. Some providers offer cash rewards that can typically provide larger savings over time. A tip that's worked for me nearly every time is that when a discounted rate is about to end, let's say it's lasted a year and the year is nearly up, you can call the provider up and tell them that you can't afford the rate increase. They might immediately offer to extend it right on the spot in order to retain your account. If they don't, you can tell them that since it's going up, that you'll need to cancel your service and cite better deals that you found from alternate providers. Really do your research. Say that you'd prefer not to have the hassle of switching providers, but that you ultimately can't afford the higher rate that they're going to switch you over to. That usually gets them to keep you at the rate you prefer, or they find a different deal that's a good compromise that works for both parties. But ultimately, you need to be able to walk away and switch providers if they won't budge, or you simply need to accept the increase. But either way, shopping around will typically get you 6 months to a year of a discounted introductory price, and that's nothing to turn your nose up to. Another way to reduce your overall monthly expenses is to inquire as to whether the very smart home devices you're trying to fund can get you discounts on your services. Many homeowners or renters insurance companies are giving discounts for having devices in your home like smart smoke detectors that can tell you if there's a fire in your home, even if you're not in it. or Ring doorbells or other security devices that can serve as a deterrent for thieves and vandals, and also make it easier for police to apprehend individuals who do decide to target a home with those devices. So they might be willing to reduce your monthly service fee simply by virtue of having the devices, as they see these devices as tools that provide protection for the home they're insuring. Also, as a side note, that doesn't reduce your monthly expenses, but is well worth mentioning. A resource you might find useful if you're planning on any upgrades to your home is the Energy Star Rebate Finder that searches based on your zip code to find rebates or special offers on Energy Star certified products. Like I found in, I believe Sacramento alone, they have doors, windows, and skylights with savings of up to $500. They have $70 rebates for buying new dryers, $800 to $1,000 rebates on tankless water heaters. So if you happen to be doing these upgrades anyway, you should really look into these rebates to reduce your overall cost. That way you can allocate those funds to something else worthwhile, like getting your house outfitted with smart door locks. Now, I save this for last because I'm always trying my best to make sure people get things for free, or at the very least at a really good discount. But if those options aren't for someone, the Freedom Tech Loan Program from California Foundation for Independent Living Centers, it was designed specifically to serve people with disabilities in getting the assistive technology that they need. To participate in the loan program, you should have done your assessment of what devices would serve your needs in order to know what amount your loan will need to be. The Freedom Tech Loan Program provides loans ranging from $500 to $15,000 with a 6% interest rate, 5.75 if you sign up for automatic payments, and a 1% origination fee that can be built directly into the loan, so there's no upfront cost. To be eligible, you must be a California resident. You must be 18 years or older. You must identify as an individual with a disability or as an individual borrowing on behalf of the individual with a disability. You must demonstrate a stable income, whether that be employment or SSDI benefits. You must have a good payment history for the past year, and your purchase must be directly related to your disability. So if your smart devices will assist in mobility disabilities or memory disabilities or vision disabilities, whatever the case, they're going to be eligible for the program. And finally, the Department of Rehabilitation, or DOR, is revamping their loan guarantee program. It is still relatively new, so your best way to utilize this program would be to get in touch with your local DOR rep and inquire directly. I know that they're working on providing device loans and transportation loans, but I would hesitate to speak for DOR on their progress. But I do know that they're actively working on bringing it back. And let's go ahead and enter our Q&A. And while people are mulling things over, we can give away another device. You up for it, Megan?
Yes, that sounds great. And if folks do have questions, please feel free to send them in our Q&A box on Zoom, and we'll do our best to answer them here. I'm going to do a quick scroll through our participant attendee list and land on a name. And it looks like our second winner today is Misty Morez.
Congratulations, Misty. And so Misty and Eileen, I am going to be getting in touch with you guys through email. I have your email from your registration info, and we'll connect and you guys can pick out your devices and we'll send that right on over to you.
Awesome, congratulations. And so far, I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm sorry, in the Q&A, but we did get somebody ask us in the chat as moderators if we'll be sharing this presentation's PowerPoint.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to be sharing the PowerPoint. I hyperlinked the heck out of it. And so you guys will get this fully accessible PowerPoint to be able to click away and check out all of the resources that we discussed today.
Perfect. And I know we also had some folks that joined a bit late, and we will have an archive available of this full session so you can watch that archive and catch anything that you might have missed. If you have any questions, please go ahead and send them to us in the Q&A. We'll stay on a little bit longer, but for the time being, I'm not seeing any questions, just a lot of appreciation. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully these resources are useful to you guys. I'm sure that some of them you guys were already aware of, but I'm hoping that there were some really useful tips in there that you can utilize to really maximize how much you can get with your money.
And I'm now seeing some questions come in, which is great. We have a question here from Doug. He wants to know, is there any effort to keep AT costs down once tied to a disability cost rise?
Oh, that's a systems change question that is an ongoing struggle. There's definitely an effort. There's definitely an effort out there. We work directly with vendors, and there's a lot of conversation around it. It's kind of a tangled question to answer. But there are definitely people that are working to keep those prices down, and there's also there are a lot of initiatives, a lot of people working to make it so that a lot of these devices are paid for through alternate means rather than having that expense come out of the pocket of the person with a disability. And so there's a lot of different approaches to try and keep those costs down, but I agree, it's definitely an issue.
Thank you, Catherine. And I'm not seeing any other questions at this time. Folks, feel free to send us any questions if you have them in the Q&A box on Zoom, or you can raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question audibly. We'll go ahead and unmute your line. Okay, I'm not seeing too many other questions, just more appreciation and thanks. So Catherine, I'll pass it back to you to wrap us up for this session.
All right, great. Thanks, Megan. I'm really happy that you guys were able to join us today. We are going to have all of this archived so you can go back and review it. I do know that I have a tendency to talk pretty quickly. My apologies to the captioner. And so having this recorded and put on YouTube is a really great resource to be able to pause and perhaps go back. So feel free to reach out at info at ability to, oh my goodness, Megan, the email address for the general email.
I believe it's info@abilitytools.org.
I'm pretty positive too, but my mind is not wanting to cooperate with me today. Reach out if you have any questions, if you want to have any discussions about our the Ability Tool services, or any questions about finding financing for these devices. We're always happy to have a discussion. If you guys have any suggestions, definitely throw that out there. We love to be able to collect as many resources as possible and get them out to people so that we can kind of sift through all of the red tape and make it a little easier for everybody to navigate the system. So with that, I will say goodbye and thank you all for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, which will be occurring in January. This is going to be a reoccurring series. This is number 3 in our installments, and it happens every 2 months.